afternoon from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Now, a week ago I was in Towers and did Scarefest, and I said 100 likes and I will do Journey to Hell. I didn't set that goal very high because within 5 hours I hit the 100 likes. So I'm here for Journey to Hell. Not today, well not right now, but later on, so that'll be a second video. I have a couple hours in the park with very loud music. Got my kids with me who aren't here very often, including one of my daughter brought her friend and she's never been out of Scotland, so does that make this an international trip for her? Anyway, I'm going to poke around. There's so much to talk about, including what's behind me with Ice Blast, but we will cover that shortly. Yeah, lots of updates, and then there will be a separate vlog this afternoon for Journey to Hell. So I see we're heading on the Derby Racer as usual, so let's start there, shall we? It's a little bit busier than I expected. Oh, let me show you. Right, there's definitely a lot going on. So just started there on the Derby Racer, and yeah, there's some engineers on the lift hill for Grand National, which yeah, it looks like they were taking bits of the chain out. I guess that means it's still not running, which for me, for Journey to Hell, hopefully means Icon is its replacement. I'd love a night ride in that one. But yeah, standing next to Ice Blast, which I'll show you in a second, it's now got scaffolding almost to the top. Now, there's definitely been a lot of talk about what that actually means. I think I was watching Sean, he quite rightly said you wouldn't put all that scaffolding up if you were taking it down, you would just dismantle it in the close season. So either the part they are trying to replace is right up the top, or, fingers crossed, they might actually be giving this thing a full refit. You know, give it a lick of paint, get the force back in it again and bring it back to its former glory. But yeah, one way or another, pretty sure this thing is going nowhere and we will see it next season. Hopefully for the opening day of the season, but a few other rides we'll talk about might not be here for opening day, but yeah, hopefully this one is. Right, they've obviously got a lot of theming out for Journey to Hell. I believe that's an inflatable stage, or a stage that they put up and then take back down again. There's the gates over there. There's one of the mazes in Impossible. I'm really curious about the River Caves one because you get to go through the kind of utility corridors behind the scenes. So I'm not going to be paying attention to anybody that's trying to jump scare me. I'm going to be nosy and see what the back of Blackpool looks like because, well, I've never seen it. So we're going to get some use out of the River Caves this evening. As I say, we get to go through some back door. I don't know, there's a green door over there, I don't know if you can see it. I'm guessing that's probably where we go in. Also, standing right next to the Bolodrome, which, I mean, we've thought for a long time its days were numbered. When Sean was here the other day, he noticed that people were surveying inside, there was a sign up. When Scott was here the other day, there was people on the roof taking down cables. I think it's highly, highly likely that that is getting demolished in the winter season. Question is whether they will be able to demolish that and put something in its place for us at the start of next season. I'd like to think so. I do think it's probably a bit of a stretch, but I would like to hope that this gyro swing, which I assume is what is going there, opens at some point next year. Maybe not for the opening season, maybe kind of more of a summer thing, but yeah, I'm sure they can knock that down really quickly. I just don't know how much ground preparation they need to do before they can get the new ride in. But yeah, its days are numbered. It is definitely going. Let's just hope we get that nice big swing. One other thing on the River Caves. I know there's lots of rumours floating around about it being a leak, and I've seen a few people saying can't be a leak, they've been at it all season, it's not going to be that hard. What I would say is River Caves, Wallace and Ghost Train all share the same building, so potentially they can't get access to what they need without shutting those rides down, so it might be something they do in the winter. For example, I know Wallace will be open tonight for Journey to Hell, but there's no audio. They have to turn that off because there's a maze underneath Wallace, and it would kind of ruin the illusion of the maze if you hear Wallace in the background. So those three rides are very intrinsically linked, and maybe that is why they're struggling to get River Caves back up and running. Right, well that's us just on Wallace properly, because everything was running, all the music was on. I will say, for all the criticism that Blackpool gets for maintenance, I have never seen anything broken in Wallace. Always, always, all the effects and animations and sounds, everything works, which is fantastic. The guy did say to me there, he said, "Are you coming for Journey to Hell tonight?" And I went, "Yes." And he went, "Don't do this." Because, as I say, there's no audio. I am going to do it because I'm really curious to see what it's actually like when it's silent. But the mazes will come first. We'll do those first. Anyway, 1 ride down, 2 rides down, 3 rides. I can't count. Right, we've got the beginnings of, I hope, demolition of Grand Prix. I mean, I hope that just because I want to see what's happening. Obviously, they shut the ride earlier this year. They've taken out all the electrical track, and there's definitely been a lot of speculation about what is actually happening. The last rumours I heard from staff was that a family coaster. That's all I heard. That doesn't mean it will be. That doesn't give us a timescale, and it doesn't tell us manufacturer. So it's a very vague. There's going to be a coaster here. I know a few people thinking it could be 2028, you know, it's quite a few years. Really depends. I mean, they did say that they're planning another attraction, and I guess we don't know if they've actually decided it yet. Because once they decide it, I guess then they can get into it. I mean, it does take time for them to demolish this and then work on all the groundwork. You know, so I mean, a coaster's probably a minimum of 2 years, maybe 3. You know, so 2028 is probably realistic. Depends what it is though. I mean, if it's something reasonably small, they could maybe knock it up quicker. But yeah, seeing some scaffolding, that at least means that presumably, I mean, we don't know for sure, we just assume that all of this helix and area is getting removed and will not be part of the new attraction. I did see when I was watching your experience guide that if they do the hotel, they've got to put some trees in. And I know Mike was like, maybe they're just going to put trees here. Pray to God that is not what they do, because that would be a complete waste. So let's hope that's not what they do. Anyway, let's see, standing next to Avalanche, and if it's not got a queue, I'll do it, but can't remember the last time. It didn't have a queue, so maybe I won't do it, we'll see. It's not the worst queue, maybe 15 minutes? It's 3:10. Let's see how long this takes, shall we? Right. Bang on 15 minutes. Very good operations. Right, well, I just decided to track down my kids who are on the ferry taxi thing over there. And I'm like right beside Nick Streak, which hasn't had a big queue lately, but then it's the busiest I've seen the park in a long time, so let's see how long this takes, shall we? Nick Streak. Enjoy Nick Street. I mean, Carly and I came off that laughing because you just get shuggled about so much, which is always good. I'm going to go and do Icon now, just in case it isn't running later on tonight. Did notice when we were up at the top of that lift hill though, that Dora has no water in it, so that's yet another ride that is not running. Not great. Let's head over to Icon, shall we? One thing whilst I'm in the queue for Icon, I have, inspired by Brian the Ride Mechanic, for the months of October and November, everything I earn on YouTube is going to Cash for Kids. So I want to try and help as many people as possible, make sure that children get something on Christmas morning. So if you can help directly, I'll leave a link in the description below to make a donation. But otherwise, if you could just watch as many videos as you can, share them, the more views I get, the more money YouTube pays, and every penny of it will go towards Cash for Kids. So let's get watching that back catalogue, shall we? Right, Icon. Tick! I got on that just in case it isn't running tonight, although I do hope it is, because a night ride on Icon will be fantastic. As always, as always, definitely the most comfortable seats of any manufacturer, Mac, just fantastic. That's the longest I've ever had, not ever, that's the longest I've had to wait for Icon recently. I mean, it's great to see the park busy again, because all season I have not had one busy day. I guess I've got used to no queues, so. But yeah, Sophie says she wants to go and do the ghost train, so we'll try. Hello! We'll try that out just now in its normal incarnation, because when I come back for Journey to Hell, it'll have scare actors in it. Curious to see how that works. And if they're always in the same place, because I've heard where they were in previous videos. So yeah, curious if I know where they are, if they change them every time. But let's get on Ghost Train, and then, I mean, there's 25 minutes of the park left, so this probably could be our last ride. And then, yeah, take it from there. And a couple other things to cover. I can't remember if I've already mentioned this in this video. I'm getting old, so if I've already said it, please forgive me. They're going around with mobile scanners. I think I mentioned it in my last video. I am hopeful that that means that if they're investing in the scanners, it's because they're going to bring back non-rider or paper ride. Fingers crossed. But it definitely seems to help. Weirdly, they didn't have it on Icon, but I've seen it on every other attraction. The other one is the big one. Now, there's been tons of rumours floating around that they're not retracking it this year. And nobody knows why. You know, is it that they're not happy with it? Is it they're changing it to another supplier? Is it they don't have the money? It kind of strikes me that if they're knocking down the Bolodrome and they're doing Ice Blast and they're taking out Grand National, Grand Prix, and they've already started work elsewhere, maybe they're just stretched too thin. And that's why the big one's on hold. I certainly would like them to do something better than just retracking it, because I think it needs... I don't think they'll ever get rid of it. It's so iconic, but yeah, I've not noticed a massive improvement on those retracking sections. So curious, let me know what your thoughts are. Whether you think the retracking has been good, bad. Do you think they're going to keep doing it? I can't walk and talk apparently, so I'm going to stop doing one of them and go on Ghost Train. Whew. So Blackpool manages to get the water to turn red. I mean, it looks like they probably just dunked Ribena in it, to be honest. And then Tower's approach is, let's use some red lights. Clearly it can be done. It does look pretty cool, to be honest. I haven't seen the Nemesis ones firsthand because I left before it got dark, because I had to get off the road. So, but yeah, it's nice to see a little bit of extra theming around here. I am curious if everything's going to be running in here, so let's find out, shall we? Well, that's worrying. So we were kind of sitting in the queue waiting on Ghost Train, and it was doing its thing, and then they just went, yeah, right shut, get out of the queue. I mean, that's one of the attractions tonight, so I hope it's nothing too bad, otherwise that's one maze down. So we're going to try and do Alice instead. And then it definitely will be closing because there's 7 minutes of the park left. I'm not even going to get on this in 7 minutes, so see when I get off. Right, well, after the Ghost Train not working, I did manage to get on Alice, which I wanted to see it because tonight it's supposed to have scare actors in it. So that is us done for the day. The park has been shut for 20 minutes now. We're going to go and get some food, and then there'll be a separate video for Journey to Hell. Today's been an interesting one from availability though, because you've obviously got Ice Blast that's out, you've got River Caves that's out, Grand National is out, the Ghost Train broke down, the Dodgems have no train, no cars on them, Diego is down, Dora has no water in it. It's not been great. I mean, what has been great is the park is really busy, and I've not seen that in a very long time, so it's so good to see lots of people. Mainly here in Scottish accents, which makes sense because the Scottish half-term has just finished and I think the English one's about to start. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this one, hit that like button and do consider subscribing. Please do watch my videos, as many as you can, to try and help me raise money for Cash for Kids. But I'm going to grab some food, and then I'll see you in the next video in a few days' time. Adios!